in general, I think we're going to discuss around 8 features today that, we're really focusing on, at least for this discussion. And yeah, let's kick it off. I think let's just showcase some of the features we want to showcase here and talk about them. I think Abdullah, maybe if you can start with what your squad has been working on.
Yeah, let's do it. So I'll be discussing 4 features. The first one is the renewals on the campaign builder. Of course, we'll dive deeper into them once we start the discussion. The second one is the invoices payment link. The third one is the subscription changing the end date on that. So we'll discuss that in detail there. And then the fourth one is the e-commerce inventory management. So let me present, and we'll be discussing the first item, which is the renewals on the campaign builder.
So the renewals on the campaign serves a lot of purposes. And I remember when we were working through the campaign builder, we were trying to adapt for many use cases, but it's interesting that, this use case that we ended up, attaching a new feature to the campaign builder was very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see, I'm currently on the dashboard. I can go ahead on under the lists. We can see the list builder and the campaign builder. So we're going to create a very small list to target one customer that I have on this dashboard, and we're going to create a renewal on that campaign builder. So I'm not going to go too deep into the lists, but if you want to learn more about how lists work and all of the segmentation that go into it, you can visit docs.pelcro.com/docs/lists. So I'm just going to go ahead and create one.
And so, Sharif, I remember when your squad was working on the campaign, was this a feature you guys had in mind as you were building the campaign builder?
Personally, as I've noticed with the feedback from a lot of our clients on the campaign builder, this feature turned out to serve a huge number of use cases than it's intended, and brought back some wins in terms of the flexibility of how to leverage that. With some clients, we even started using it for automated reporting based on the segmentation produced from this. So as the time goes by, we find a lot of use cases, and it helps us enhance this in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, so we're here on the campaign dashboard. So if I click on to create a new campaign, so one. So the type that we were looking at over here is the renewal type, and that's the one that I just selected. And the list is the list demo. I'll be selecting a pre-existing campaign key. So the list that I currently selected as part of my list demo, the subscription over there is the monthly auto renewal. But what I want to do as part of this renewal campaign is renew everyone on the yearly auto renewal. So that's what I'm going to select over here. The action type is the renewal and export. So what that means is when the script runs, we're going to be able to add this yearly auto renewal automatically onto the monthly auto renewal for anyone that has that subscription. And you'll also receive an export with the status of each renewal as well. So I'll be
so like you mean to say like this can be used to like automate renewals in bulk? That's what you're saying?
Basically, yes.
Oh,
that's
wow.
exactly what I'm saying. Okay.
Saves operational hassle on a lot of our clients. Then.
So how were our clients doing this at the moment, right? Like, so were they? I know they were, for example, maybe sometimes scheduling, like when someone subscribes to a plan, they auto renew them on another plan. There was also, you can schedule renewals, when someone requests it, whether it's from their UI or from customer service.
Yeah, or if they were very tech savvy, they could have built their own scripts using our own APIs, but that would have been a hassle as well. This over here provides a very friendly user experience, and they can set it up within minutes as we're showing you right now. So if I click on save, so we have demo 1 set up. So I can just go ahead and start it. And that's about it. So basically, this campaign is currently running. Everyone that had a monthly renewal subscription has now a yearly auto renewal scheduled ahead as well. And if we want to see an example of that in action, so as you can see over here, I go to my dear friend Jane. So this is the monthly auto renew. If I click on view subscription, we will be able to see this yearly auto renewal scheduled in the future from December 3rd to December 3rd of 2023.
And so after the current period ends, it will automatically renew into the new pricing point. In this example, you move them from a monthly auto renew to a yearly, but most of the use case around this is that, someone is increasing their monthly costs. And so let's say it's going from $10 a month and they want to increase it to $12 a month, especially now with inflation. So that's typically the use case there. Am I correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
So
that's very interesting.
Step up pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And can you even track like the campaign key gets attached to the next phase as well, right? Like, so you're able to track which campaign essentially renewed the phase for reporting purposes.
Exactly. And you can even attach a coupon as well.
Very cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that for the first feature. Moving on to the second feature, which is the invoices payment link. So for the invoices payment link, what we did was we set up a page where any user or any individual with that link can pay off an invoice. And paying off that invoice would be anonymous, and we can see it right away. So if I go and visit the invoices tab over here.
And so the use case there is that someone is, you create an invoice and you don't want to it's not going to require the customer to go in and log into their account and pay the invoice. This is just a public invoice. You can enter your credit card and get the invoice paid.
Exactly. So as you can see here, we have a list of 4 invoices. 3 of them are open. So if I view this invoice, and as you can see here, we have the invoice payment link, which will redirect us to another page. So I'm going to share that tab instead. And over here, you can see the summary of this invoice and the URL that I'm currently on. To whoever I send it, it's available publicly. And anyone can pay this invoice off. And if we go ahead and add some test card information, and click on pay.
Interesting. So a step to like.
The cool thing about this URL is that it's also available on your webhooks. It's also available on the APIs. So you're going to have access to all of them. You can add it to your emails. You can add it on your website, wherever you want, really.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? Like, is that you're just sending it. You want them to, like, if it's open, pay it right away, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very interesting as well, because like if I'm a new client or a new business that's just starting and I don't have a website and I still need time to set up the website, I can just rely immediately on this payment link to get payments from clients until the website is set up. So I think that streamlines the business revenue generation as well. So I think this is one of the coolest features.
Yeah.
And the credit card isn't stored in that case, right? Like on the customer profile, or is it?
It's not stored, so it's anonymous.
Okay, I guess that makes sense because it's a one-time thing. You don't necessarily want to like link the credit card to that person forever. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that's really cool.
Yeah. Moving on to the third feature, which is changing the end date on a subscription. So essentially, what this feature entails is that for any subscription for your clients as an admin, of course, this is not available to your end users. This is just for you as an admin. If you want to provide extended access, if you want to build better relations with your client, and you want to give them more time on their current subscription, you can very easily change the end date on that subscription, and we're gonna see that right away. So if I go on my customers and we go back to my dear friend Jane, so Jane has a subscription over here that expires on December 3rd, 2022. But as I mentioned, me and Jane are very good friends, and I want to extend this subscription. I want to give her access for a week. So as you can see here, we have this new field called the change end date. As I mentioned, December 3rd is our current end date, and I want to extend that access to December 10th. So it's as simple as selecting this from the date picker over here. We click on update subscription, and the subscription is updated successfully. At that point, Jane can receive an email. We trigger webhooks for that, and basically the access for her on my website will be extended. Now, of course, on the flip side of things, if you want to shorten the access or revoke some access or make the subscription a bit shorter, that's also possible. So instead of December 10, we can make it due end of November.
And so, Abdullah, here, what's happening is that we're not necessarily, playing with the billing situation, right? Like the invoices are staying the same. This is just to provide them with additional free access that's complimentary or so, without really impacting the billing situation.
Correct.
Okay, that's very interesting. I know there was a lot of use cases around that, especially for customer service, where someone has an issue, they couldn't access the platform for a certain time, and they don't want to complicate things with billing, and so they just want to extend for free. So I definitely think this has a lot of use cases. So
Yeah.
I definitely think this feature is going to be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Okay, so that wraps it up for feature 3. So moving on to e-commerce now. So for the 4th feature, we added inventory management to our e-commerce module. So if I visit e-commerce and I visit one of my products, so I have a product here set up called magazines, and what I want to do is I want to add a new SKU, and let me call it issue 1. So we have a new field here called a description. So okay, and the price, we can add it.
We're doing a lot of things for Jane.
A lot of things for Jane. Okay, so the new fields that we're looking at over here is the inventory type and the quantity. So the inventory type is either infinite or finite.
Okay.
If it's infinite, then there's no count on the SKU. Anyone in the world can put as many orders as they want, and there's not going to be a countdown on your inventory. So basically, there's not going to be an end to how many users your clients can purchase. This is mainly used for digital purchases. Let's say you want to sell an online PDF and so on. However, in this case, we want to sell an actual physical issue. So we would select finite, and we would have a quantity of, let's say, 100. Let me select an image. So select this magazine.
I think it's interesting. So that starts leveraging the e-commerce functionality on Pelcro to other industries as well. Don't you agree?
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see here, this SKU was created. We have a quantity of 100. So if we go back to Jane and we create that e-commerce order, we can select issue 1. And we charge a credit card. The order was created successfully, and if we go back to our products,
so it's keeping tab on it.
It's keeping tab on it. So as you can see here, the quantity was decreased. Now, when the quantity reaches 0, that order will fail. Anyone who is trying to purchase issue one will not be able to, because you run out of inventory. And then, of course, you can restock. You can add another SKU. It's really as you wish.
So can we then like change the SKU, or is the process more that you add another SKU?
So you can always update the quantity,
Okay.
but then it really depends on your usage. So we made it as flexible as possible. You can
Okay.
update your quantity if you want to keep the same details and you don't want to create a new SKU. You just want to update this quantity. It's fine.
So let's say if it's nine, if it's oh, okay, so now even the quantity here gets updated, so it's keeping
Yes,
track of it here. And so if you get an extra 10, so you can just make this like update it right away from 99 to 109. Okay.
exactly. Okay.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, and that wraps it up for the fourth feature and for my squads features as well. So
And Abdullah, I know we're working on a lot of things. This is only what we're showcasing here, but one other thing also that I'm excited about is we're slowly implementing GraphQL as we're learning about just how customers are using our APIs. And I know we're internally trying to first use our GraphQL endpoints before we expose it. Can you just update us on what's going on there?
yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna send out a small sneak peek. We can expect that for the next release. We're gonna have GraphQL endpoints that we use internally and that our customers can use as well. Now, Mike, you mentioned an interesting point where we will also be using this internally. So the one of the critical points here at Pelcro is that the API endpoints that we build and anything that's exposed to our clients is something that we do use internally. That way, everyone has the same access. Everyone can implement whatever they wish to implement, and it's not exclusive only to Pelcro to be using as well. So we'll have more updates on that for the next release, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. I know we've been kind of planning it and working through it, so excited to see that one come up. All right, so Sharif, tell us about what you guys have been doing.
Sure. So in the spirit of keeping up with the payments team at Pelcro here, we always make sure that we're providing you with supported payment options and methods, and essentially we try to choose payment gateways that have strong reputations and security features and offer support for most of the payment types. So the newest addition to our collection is Tap Payments. It is an online payment system that is based in the Middle East, and it enables users to accept payments using global debit and credit cards. It empowers like around, I think, 100,000 businesses of different sizes in the Middle East and globally as well. So if I can share my screen, if you go here under integrations, you will find that at the very bottom, you have the Tap payment gateway is available here. So all you need to do is you open up here. Essentially, you basically give it the configuration that is provided from your Tap account manager. So you're gonna need your merchant account ID, the secret API key, and the publishable key, which Tap account manager can provide to you directly. And voila, everything is set up. You now have Tap serving as your payment gateway, both on the Pelcro platform and on the Element side of things as well. So this is one of our
So this
exciting.
serving the Middle East, like where is this company based out of? Where is Staff based out of?
I
Out of
believe it's
Korea.
based in Kuwait,
Okay.
but it operates primarily from Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, and it serves not just the Middle East. It serves like businesses globally as well. They support processing payments in around 10 plus countries, uh, and they offer, like, we're glad to offer their support right now out of the box.
Okay.
So
Are they also serving the the Africa region, or is it just the Middle East?
I believe they're also serving specific countries in Africa. So
Okay.
check out our documentation to see a list of all of the countries that are supported for TAP.
Mm-hmm.
The link would be under our integration section, the payment gateways. And you'll see all about TAP and the countries they serve, as well as the
Got it.
support currencies and how to set it up. So
Yeah.
that's one thing we're glad to present. The second feature, which is something that we're preparing and launch for in its full throttle on the next release, not just this release, but here's a sneak peek of what we're doing, is that we've introduced a lot of enhancements to our cancellations and refunds. So right now, if we go to, let's say, the payments page, you'll see that there is a new column here that has been added to your payments view that shows you whether the payment has been made to the invoice directly against an invoice or directly to the balance.
Mm-hmm.
We've also added
So
some.
let's talk about this for a second. So like when it goes against what's the use case for it going against the balance?
So the use cases for it going against the balance are usually things like either a customer adding an offline payment to their balance just in case they want to subscribe to something in the future, or alternatively, if for our clients who have enabled the charge upon renewal feature on their side, usually what happens is the payment gets taken out of the customer account, is stored on the customer balance, and then gets withdrawn whenever the subscription is created and the invoice is generated.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a good way to tell whether the payment has been made against either the invoice directly when you pay immediately for a subscription or against the balance.
Yeah.
The
I
useful
remember
thing,
there was also some edge cases where, let's say there was an invoice for, $100, and but then someone sends a check to the customer, to the business, of like 110. And so customer service wasn't able to just mark the invoice as paid because the amount they received is greater than the invoice. And so they would enter it into the customer balance and then take it into use it to pay the invoice. This way there's a $10 balance in the customer's account.
exactly. And speaking of customer balance and the problems that come with working with it, we've also introduced the ability to right now refund what exists on the customer balance
Mm-hmm.
directly to the customer. So this helps you in case you have a customer who like
Well, going
requests.
back to my example where it's like they paid extra, they have $10 in the balance. Now you can refund it to him, right?
Yep,
Like at extra
precisely.
$10.
Precisely, exactly. You can do that. You'll be able to do that here by accessing any payments that have been made against the balance.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find a new window called adjusting customer balance. It displays here the customer balance that you have on the customer account. For now, we're only allowing refunding the balance offline,
Mm-hmm.
and you can refund, for example, like either a portion or the full amount of the balance, along with a reason for the balance adjustment, which takes us to one of our final enhancements to the refunds flow. And you'll notice that specifically to offline refunds. So the changes that you'll notice here is that now we have two statuses that have been changed. So you've got a pending offline and a pending online. The pending offline was previously known as the two issue refunds. So now, whenever you're issuing any kind of offline refund, it gets first moved to a pending offline state before it gets approved by you and processed directly to the customer.
So the use case there was that a lot of finance teams, like even if customer service was, you know, going like, okay, we need to issue a refund for this customer, the finance team then needs to like kind of put them all together, export it, write the checks, etc. So it's two different processes. Someone says this person deserves a refund, and then someone else needs to process all of the refunds. Am I correct?
Precisely. And when they do that, right now, it also takes into account whether the customer balance that is currently residing has been used for something else. So now the refund will not process until unless the balance allows it.
Is there. Okay.
Yeah. So, and naturally you'll see all of that reflecting on your accounting reports, your revenue recognition mechanisms, and it makes things a lot more structured and clean when it comes to cancellations and refunds, minimizing also the hassle for your customer service and operations. And one honorable mention also that
So sorry, just before we leave this one, so Sharif, like the balance gets taken off when you process it. It's not like, so when it's in pending, the balance is still there. Then you process it, it takes it out at that point from the customer balance.
So if we do that here now, you mark it as processed, you can see that the refund moved out of the pending offline to the succeeded state right there.
Okay, got it.
And while we're on refunds as well, one thing, or my final mention for this is the enhancements that we did to the refund window. So you can see now that you have the payment destination. You can now, like for customers who would like to issue like full refunds or partial refunds, they can do that directly without having to find workarounds on our platform. So you can select the reason from here, and then you can either issue a full refund and it locks it to the amount, or a partial refund, and then from here you can provide the refund in part and then refund. This also applies to the cancellation and refund modal window. So if you go to one of your existing subscription, let's find this guy here from our actual friend Chandler Bing, and then let's say we're canceling immediately. Okay, let's try that again with a different subscription. So let's say we're creating a subscription for Chandler here on our Nature portfolio product. We're going to automatically charge a payment source on file and create the subscription. Now, when the subscription gets created and then Chandler, being the indecisive friend that he is, decides to cancel the subscription immediately. So he goes here, cancel immediately. And yeah,
he doesn't get it yet, but he will eventually get it.
Yeah, but again, like we said, this is still a work in progress. So we're gonna clean that up, and you will see it in its full-fledged form in the.
And so here, Sharif, it's again we're testing on staging here, but so when you're clicking on that and you issue the refund, it's gonna give you the same options that we saw previously. Is that it?
It's just gonna give slightly different options. So you'll see a full refund or a prorated refund. So whenever we're taking out the partial refund out of the cancel and refund model, because based on our client feedback, this is likely what happens usually during cancellations. If they want to do a refund on a partial amount, they can do it still on the payment, like we mentioned.
And when you issue a refund on the payments part, does it impact the subscription at all?
When you issue a refund on the payments part, yeah. So on the accounting, you'll see it doesn't impact the subscription, but on the accounting, you'll see that reflected on the invoice through credit notes.
Okay, so you're issuing credit notes in order to, I guess, stop the recognizing what you
essentially, or make sure that your revenue recognition is reflected correctly on your reports without the need to cancel the subscription. So this can be used in business cases where there is an inconvenience that has been provided to the customer, and you just want to refund a partial amount, so you don't necessarily need to cancel the subscription.
Got it. All right, this is super exciting.
That's it from my side. Check out our documentation for more details on all of these nifty little features. And any final thoughts from you guys?
So I'm really excited about all of this. I think we covered a lot of open items. I think also the use cases that we're covering are going to help our customers serve their customers easier, and we're also accommodating for new use cases, which is very exciting. And we're excited to see how these new features get used. So yeah, that's at least my final thought. Anything from your end?
Yeah, I mean, always excited. Also, just working here in different teams, Sharif. It's always exciting to also see the work that you do, that your team does as well. Always pleasantly surprising. So yeah, good
Yeah,
job.
I feel we're also getting surprised amongst ourselves here on
Yes,
on these
the
calls.
feeling is
So that's
mutual.
interesting.
So like as always, documentation, check out our YouTube channel for more explainer videos specifically on lists and campaigns to help you with all of our new features. And to whoever seeing this, happy holidays or Thanksgiving in case this is being coming to you at a vacation.
100%. All right, thanks guys. This was very helpful, and yeah, excited for the next release. Have a good one.
Me too. Bye-bye.